It started on a perfectly normal Tuesday, the kind of bright, cloudless afternoon where nothing bad is supposed to happen. I was walking home from work when I noticed it. My shadow wasn't keeping up with me. At first, I thought it was the light. The sun was strong that day, the kind that makes the sidewalk shimmer. But when I stopped walking, my shadow didn't stop. It kept moving a half step behind and then slowly caught up like nothing happened. I stood there for a full minute, squinting at the pavement, waiting for it to do it again. Nothing, just the hot glare of the afternoon sun. I laughed it off, told myself I was overtired, but something about it stuck in my head all evening. The next day, I tried to test it. I walked through the park at noon, glancing down now and then. My shadow seemed normal, but when I waved at a friend across the street, I saw it clearly. My shadow didn't wave back. It just stood there. Still. I froze. My hand was still in the air, but on the ground, my shadow's arm was at its side. And then, slowly, it lifted its arm too, a second later, not quite matching mine, but close. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I kept seeing that delay, that hesitation, like it was thinking for itself. By Thursday, I decided to record it. I set up my phone, standing in the bright sunlight near the window. I raised my arm, then turned slightly. When I watched the video back, I almost dropped my phone. My shadow didn't just move late, it moved differently. When I tilted my head left, the shadow tilted right. When I raised my arm, it raised both. I even caught it glancing in my direction when I wasn't moving at all. I deleted the video immediately. I didn't want anyone to see it, not even me. But later that night, I got a message from an unknown number. No name, no profile, just a video attachment. It was the same clip. My shadow, moving wrong. Only this time, at the very end, my shadow waved directly at the camera. I unplugged everything, my phone, my Wi-Fi, my computer. I couldn't make sense of it. I hadn't shared that file with anyone. By the weekend, things got worse. My shadow started disappearing at random times during the day, like when I walked under trees or passed by cars. Sometimes it vanished completely, even when there was full sun, but I always felt it nearby, watching me. Sunday afternoon, I walked past a storefront and caught my reflection in the glass. But there was something wrong. I was there, but my shadow wasn't behind me. It was in front of me, and for the first time, I saw it clearly turn around and smile. I didn't leave the house for 2 days after that. Every window was covered, every light turned off. Couldn't look at my own reflection without feeling like I was being watched from the other side. By the third morning, the sun crept through the blinds no matter how tightly I closed them. I remember sitting at my kitchen table, exhausted, staring at my hands and realizing there was no shadow under them. It was broad daylight. That's when I heard a faint tapping, like fingers drumming against the floorboards. I leaned over the table, heart pounding. The sound wasn't coming from inside the room. It was coming from below me. I stepped back and crouched down. Through the thin crack of light beneath the kitchen door, I saw it, a shape shifting along the floor, following my movements exactly but from the wrong side of the door. My own shadow. I backed away slowly, then flung the door open. Sunlight poured into the hall, but the shadow stayed there, perfectly still on the tiles, like it didn't belong to me anymore. That was when I called Dr. Palmer, my old college professor, who now worked at a research lab downtown. He'd studied light phenomena and human perception. I told him everything. The laughter on the phone faded the more I talked. When I finished, there was silence. Then he said, "Come in. Bring the video you deleted." When I told him I'd erased it, he replied softly, "No. You didn't. Look at your phone." I hesitated, pulled my phone from my pocket, and opened my gallery. My stomach dropped. The video was back, the same one I deleted days ago, but now it had a new timestamp. Today, 12:00 p.m., and the thumbnail showed me, standing in his lab. I drove there anyway. By noon, the sky was unnaturally bright, the kind of light that makes everything look too sharp, too à la point. Inside the lab, Dr. Palmer set up a light test, one bright source, one neon, one white wall. One came, raw. "Step into the light," he said. I did. My shadow appeared on the wall just like it should. He moved closer, adjusting the light's angle. Then he froze. "Mark, your shadow, it's not connecting to your feet." I looked down. The darkness that should have touched my shoes stopped an inch short like it was hovering. Then, slowly, the gap widened. Dr. Palmer reached for his camera. "It's reacting," he whispered. "It's not a projection. It's separate." Before I could answer, the light in the room flickered just once and my shadow turned its head toward him. Not me. Him. The camera dropped. Dr. Palmer stumbled backward. "It looked at me," he gasped. "It shouldn't do that." The shadow reached out, stretching across the wall, and when it touched his arm, the light went out completely. I screamed his name. When the backup light came on, he was gone. The only thing left was another shadow standing beside mine. It wasn't his. It wasn't mine. It was smiling. By the time I ran out of the lab, the sky had gone pale white, not blue, not cloudy, just blank, like the sun had erased the color from everything. My car key shook in my hand, but when I looked down, I froze again. The asphalt beneath me didn't have a single shadow. Not mine, not the trees, not even the car. It was as if the light had eaten them all. I drove home fast, my chest tightening with every mile. The radio kept cutting in and out static mixed with faint whispers that almost sounded like my name. When I pulled into my driveway, my front door was already open, 4:43 p.m., full sunlight. Inside, my house looked normal, except every mirror was fogged over like someone had breathed on them all at once. My phone buzzed, another unknown message. No words, just a live video request. I shouldn't have answered, but I did. The screen showed the inside of my own living room from a high angle, like a camera was hidden somewhere above me. And there, in the middle of the floor, was a figure standing in perfect sunlight streaming through the window. It looked like me, but the light around it bent wrong, shimmering like heat waves. Then the figure lifted its hand, waved, and smiled exactly like my shadow had done days ago. The feed glitched. Static filled the sound, and through it, I heard something faint but clear. "Step into the light, Mark." I threw the phone across the room and stumbled backward, but every window in the house began to glow, sunlight piercing through like floodlights. I couldn't escape it. The light spread across the walls, the floor, creeping toward me, and as it touched my feet, I saw my own shadow finally appear again. Only this time, it wasn't following me. It was leading. It moved toward the center of the room, pointing at the ceiling. I looked up, and there, burned into the plaster, were dozens of handprints made of ash. Some small, some large, all reaching downward, all angled toward me. Then I heard it a voice, low and familiar. Dr. Palmer's voice. "It's not your shadow, Mark. It's the lights." Before I could react, my shadow stepped away from me entirely. It stretched across the wall, then up toward the ceiling until it vanished into the light completely. The room dimmed instantly. I looked down and realized I no longer cast a shadow at all. And for the first time, the world around me felt heavier, quieter, like the sun was holding its breath. That's when my phone buzzed again. One new message. "Thank you for letting me out." I picked it up, trembling, and stared at the screen. My reflection was visible in the glass, only it wasn't me. It was smiling. If you thought losing your shadow was the worst part, wait till you find out what happens when the light starts watching you instead. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and remember, next time you walk outside, check your shadow. If it's not there, maybe it doesn't need you anymore.